Hello and good day. You're welcome to this lesson. You're welcome to this lecture. All right. So I put this together for the sake of many people who are interested in learning how to trade, but are having quite a lot of complications understanding what to trade, having a lot of complications understanding where to enter the market. How do I get out of the market? In fact, some people don't even understand the charts. All right. So this is the reason why I'm compiling this. It's going to be not so much of a long video, but I will give the most important details for you. All right. Some of you want to learn how to trade. Some of you have been trading before, but you have not been able to find consistency in trading. So I'm going to be sharing this very important system. All right. And everything that you need to know about trading successfully in this video. All right. I will show you everything from trading psychology to risk management to your ability to enter trades and the strategy that has made me some good amount of money. All right. Now, this is what you should understand. Trading the Forex market is not as complicated as many people make it. All right. What you need to find out is you need to find out a system that is easy to comprehend and follow that system. As easy as that. A system that is easy to comprehend and follow that system mechanically. That's all you need. All right. So we are going to talk about that in the few hours. Yeah, I would say so. So it's not going to be so much of a long video. So don't be afraid. I will teach you just what is important for you to know. All right. We have what we call the importance of simplicity. It's important that you as a trader, you are trading with simplicity. Very important that you are trading with simplicity. You are not trading complex systems that, you are trying to figure out what exactly, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? Your system should be so easy that once you come into the chart, it's easy for you to know this is where I'm buying and this is where I'm selling. All right. So let's look at what we have today. Now, what I'm going to share with you is simple, just as I said. Now, the reason why I'm creating this is because I really have a burden for people who are learning to trade and yet they have a problem trying to understand the charts. All right, you go online, you see people drawing all kinds of lines on the chart, and then you are wondering what exactly is going on here. And how can I be like them? How can I do what they are doing and make a profit as well? Because the end of trading is for you to make a profit. Now, there are many things to it. There are many things to trading successfully. All right. One of it is your psychology. One of it is your ability to manage risk. And yet, even though this is underemphasized, another very important stuff is your ability to manage money, especially when the trade is running. All right, without wasting much of our time, let's look at the charts. So if you have gotten this course, you will be in a group, all right? You will be in a group where everyone who has also gotten this course will be. Now, the goal is for every one of us, once we have mastered and understood this strategy, we can share our setups, we can share our opportunities, because definitely we cannot be watching 10 markets, 20 markets, 30 markets. All right. But when everyone in the group as a community is watching a particular currency, all right, we can share our setup and opportunity on a particular pair, and then someone else shares his own opportunity on a particular pair. That way, we can have countless opportunities sent to the group. All right, don't forget, this is a community. We can have countless opportunities sent to the group, and then we can maximize the opportunities, especially for people who have very busy days. You can always look at your phone. You saw an opportunity that was sent by this guy. You go on your chart, you see that opportunity, you confirm it, you take your trade, so that everyone is not always looking at the chart. All right, you can do your job of looking at a particular pair, and then, for the sake of the community, it's not mandatory anyway, but you can send your signal to the group, and then everyone can partake of it. That's the reason for this, building a community. All right, now, this is what the strategy looks like. Very simple, very easy. Now, what we are going to be looking out for is a simple system, a very simple system. This. Now, we are going to be looking at previous candles. All right, so we are not going to be looking so much into many other stuffs. Just look at previous candles. Previous candles. So the idea behind this strategy is following a kind of pattern. All right, it's following a kind of pattern. Now, in the markets, while trading the Forex market, there is something very important that you need to know. We have what we call accumulation space in the market. I don't want to confuse you, all right, with a lot of technical terms, but this is very important that you get to know. All right, we have what we call an accumulation, and then we have what we call manipulation, and we have what we call distribution. Now, in the accumulation phase, which is this, what happens here is that the market is trying to get people to buy and sell. All right, the market is trying to get people to buy and sell at this point. What happens here is that many people have their stop losses above here. All right, so people who are selling here have their stop losses above, and people who are buying here have their stop losses below. Now, look at this very closely. You would notice that people who were buying and selling at this point, they got stopped out at that point. All right, as people who were selling got stopped out, people who were buying got stopped out below here, because definitely they had their stop loss above and they had their stop loss below. Now, how do we avoid these kinds of things? Because it's always happening in the market. There are always examples of that. Always examples of that. All right, you notice this here. This is a very simple explanation. We have that kind of movement. We see the market taking out the people below, taking out the people above, and then coming down. Now, if I bring this out, you will notice that it is very similar to what I have just drawn here. It's always repeating itself. The market is always repeating itself. You see that people who are selling here, they got stopped out. People who were buying here, they got stopped out as well. All right, so it's always happening, always happening. Now, the question is, how do I see this? How do I avoid it? Now, I'm not going to be teaching you that, all right, so that I'm not complicating a lot of systems. What we are going to be looking at is this candlestick pattern. Now, in this candlestick pattern, what you see here is exactly what is happening here, but on the lower time frame. All right, on the lower time frame, you might not be able to see it, especially if you have not been trading for long enough. All right, but you would notice. Now, let me do this. Okay, I think this is very important that I get done. Let me mark out that point, and let's make use of another time frame. Let's say the 4-hour time frame. Think that will be okay? Yes, the 4-hour time frame will be okay. Now, if you look at the 4-hour time frame, on this, you would notice something very, very important. Okay, now let me get this out so that we see it clearly. You'll notice something very important. Take a look at this. You see how the market pushed lower, taking people below right there, pushed higher, taking people above right there. Now, this is the 4-hour time frame. Okay. Now, if you look at what I designed here, okay, take a look at this. Just look at this closely. The market took out the low and took out the high. It is not visible enough on the 4-hour time frame. Probably, maybe you are not experienced, so much experienced in the forex market to understand this. But this is the 4-hour time frame, and you come to the 30-minute time frame. You see exactly what I drew. Market taking out the low and taking out the high. So you see how it depicts itself from the lower time frame. Now, if you look at this candle that I did here, that's the strategy we are making use of. The strategy of accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. But we are going to be looking at we are only going to be looking at the we are only going to be looking at the we are going to be looking at the candle particularly. So this strategy is so easy that you can do whatever you seek to do during the day and then still have opportunities to trade. So easy. In fact, I shouldn't be sharing this just almost so freely and almost so easily. All right. My goal has always been to build and to raise traders who understand how to trade the markets efficiently and are able to trade as much as, profitably as possible and with their psychology and their emotions in check. One thing I've realized about trading is that it can shake you psychologically if you do not understand quite a few things. One of it, which is a defined system, which is a strategy that works. And then another is your psychology. Now, people talk about psychology, but we are going to look at psychology in the next session. All right, we are going to look at psychology slightly. Very, very important. All right, let me just keep that for the psychology session. All right, I'm almost getting into psychology. All right, so let's look at the strategy. It's a very simple strategy. A very simple strategy. So this here is a green candle. Now, what we are going to be looking out for is for the market to take out the previous low or the previous high and end bullish or bearish. Now, before we go deep into this, let me do something very important. Let me teach you something before I get into this. And that's going to be what I call the anatomy of candlesticks. All right. So let's do something. So the anatomy of candlesticks. Now, we are going to be looking at candlesticks, and then we are going to look at the anatomy of the candlestick. Now, if we have a candlestick like this is a bullish candle. All right. Now I'm doing this for the sake of people who are probably new to trading and may not completely understand this. All right. Anatomy of candlesticks. All right. Now this is a green candle. A green candle signifies a bullish candle. That means the market is going higher or went higher during that session. All right. If you're having a difficulty understanding this, probably you should get my trading beginners course. All right, because I don't want to dig so deep into this. All right. I believe that many of you seeing this are probably traders. All right. Okay. But in case you don't understand this, then that's a sign that you may need to get a beginner's course. I have one, or you can go online and do your due diligence of getting, a video that explains candlestick. Candlesticks are very, very easy. All right. Now we see that this is the high of the candle. Here's the high of the candle. Here is the low of this candle. And here is the low of this candle. All right. Now, this is the close of this candle. This here is the close of this candle. This here is the close of this candle above. All right. So we see the close of this candle. We see the close of this candle. So for the green candle, the close of the candle is above. For the red candle, the close of the candle is below. Now the goal is for us to look for I think it's important that I put this down. So we have the close. So we have the close of the candle. All right. And so we have the open of the candle, which is above. The open of the candle is above for the red candle, and the close of the candle is below for the green candle. All right. So what it means is that the market opened below and closed above, making it a bullish candlestick, which makes it green. All right. Some people paint their own candlesticks different colors, but mine is green and red. All right. So we see the market opened, opened below, closed above, opened above, closed below, opened below, closed above. So it's all about, candlesticks and the market's movement. If the candle opened here and closed above, it ends a bullish candle. If it opened, let me zoom in. If it opened above, closed below, it's a bearish candle. If it opened above, closed below, it's a bearish candle. If it opens below and closes above, it's a bullish candle, meaning it's a green candle, or it ended going upwards during that time frame. So we have different time frame depicting different candlesticks. All right. Now that we understand the anatomy of candlesticks, we go back to the strategy. Very simple strategy, as I said. Very simple. Okay, so this here is the anatomy of the candlesticks. Very easy, very simple to understand, very easy to get. Now, the goal is for us to look for the market, where the market is taking out the previous low. So we see that here is the low of the candle. So our focus primarily is going to be the close of the candle and the low of the candle alongside the high of the candle. So we have the low here. This is also the low. And then in this place here, we have the high. So the high is resting right there. So that there is the high of the candle. Now, I don't want this to get you confused. Please, I don't want it to get you confused. I'm just trying to explain, the concept that you are going to be using in this strategy. Very easy, very simple. All right, so this is the high, this is the low, this is the close of the candle. So we notice in this strategy, you are looking for the market to take out the low. Now, this is the former candle. In the new candle, by the way, I advise that you make use of 30-minute time frame or 1 hour time frame, depending on your free, how free you are. If you are still very much free, you can use 30 minutes. If you are not that much free, you can use 1 hour. Thank God for the community where people can drop their signals in that group, and then you might be busy and then just see someone drop a signal. You can go and check it out. Just 3 minutes, confirm whether or not the person sees correctly, and then you can take the trade. All right. I will be in the group, so definitely I will be able to make any correction or adjustments where there is a need for that. Okay, so we see that there is a break of that low. Now, when that happens, what you want to look out for is a bullish candle. What follows after should be a bullish candle. Now, when that happens, that's where you want to take a trade. But the two things that you must look out for is that the market must take out the previous low and end bullish. Now, you are going to take a trade from that one. This is where you are going to enter the trade. Now, we look at this also. This is a different scenario. All right, so this is a different scenario. Now, what we notice here is here is a green candle, and then here is a red candle. Now, we see that here was, okay, we have this right there. We have that right there. And then when we see something like this, that's where you want to sell. What are you looking out for? For the market to take out the high. Now, when market take out the high, you're looking for selling. When the market take out the low, you're looking for buying. All right, you want to buy after the market takes out the low, just like what you see here. Takes out the high, you want to sell. When it takes out the low, you want to buy. So it takes out the low, you want to buy. Takes out the high, you want to sell. So that's what we are looking for basically in this strategy. It's very simple. We are looking for the strategy on the 30-minute time frame. Very simple, very easy strategy. So let's look at the chart. Let's look at the chart. Now, that is one part of the strategy. The next part of the strategy is to look for support and resistance zone, because this is where this happens the most. All right. We look for support, which is here. See support here. All right, so we see a support right there. All right, well, what other support do we see? we see a support right here. All right, we see another supports almost everywhere. Okay, now if you go through that support closely, you would notice something very, very nice. All right. Now, if you want to get a support, you can find support in areas okay. This is a support area. This is a support area. Why is it a support area? For some of us who don't know what support is, okay, I think this video is basically for people who already know how to trade. Okay, but support resistance is a very simple trading terminology where the market respects an area multiple times. So we see the market push down. This is a support zone. Tap here, tap into that point again. Once you tap into that point again, you are looking for opportunities likely to buy. You see the market tap into that point 1, tap into that point 2. You look for opportunities to sell. All right. Now, we are not just looking for opportunities to sell or buy until we see this pattern appear around that area. Okay. Now let's go deep into the support and the resistance. All right. So this is a resistance which is above, and then this is a support which is below. So what do? We want to take, this is the resistance, right? This is the resistance. Then I come deeply into the chart. Now this is 30-minute time frame. So you wait for 30 minutes. It's every 30 minutes you check your phone. For some of us who want 1 hour, you can wait for 1 hour. So just make sure you are consistent with your time frame. 30 minutes, you check your phone. Did you see an opportunity? No, you shut down your phone and go do your other business, do your other work. It's just as simple as that. The more time you spend on the charts does not necessarily mean that you are going to make money. All right. In fact, sometimes you spend more time on the chart, the less productive you become for some reason. All right. So this is a support zone. What do we notice here? We notice that the market takes out the previous low, just like what I've shown. Takes out the previous low at the support zone and then ends bullish. What do you want to do? You want to buy at that point. This is where you want to buy. And then your stop loss will be below that candle. And then your target will be risk reward ratio of 2.5. You can make use of 3. All right, risk reward ratio of 2.5. 2.5 should be here. And that's it. You look for another opportunity. Can you see any other? This here is a support resistance zone. Okay. Now we have to look into that resistance zone if we have our pattern. Don't forget our pattern. We have to look into it to see, do we have an opportunity? Let me zoom in. Please, you must learn to zoom in to know whether your pattern was respected. What do we see here? We see that it took this previous high slightly. Not very vivid, but it took it out slightly. When that happened, and especially in the support zone, resistance zone, sorry, I'm always mixing that too. Resistance is above, support is below. Once you see that, you want to sell. The stop loss would be above that point, and then you want to put your take profit at risk reward ratio of 2.5. Risk reward ratio of 2.5, which of course we were able to hit our target right there. All right. Now 2.5 is, 2.5 times your stop loss. So if you are risking $50, you are going to be making 50 times 2.5. 50 times 2.5 should be $125. If you are risking $20, you are risking $20 for to get 2.5 times 20, which is $50. All right. If you want to go for a risk reward ratio of 1 to 3, fine for you. All right. But I prefer making use of 1 to 3, 1 to 2.5 rather. All right. Now the goal is make sure, in fact, let me write this down. Let me write this down. Now, these are the rules to follow. A simple rule. As a trader, you must have rules that you must follow. This is one of the things that help you keep your trading in check and help you manage risk. Your rules. Number one, all right, the candle must take out the previous candle high when intending to sell. All right. And must be in a resistance area. That's the first rule. For the second, the candle must take out the previous candle low and end in a bullish candle when seeking to buy, and must be in a support area. Now, I'm showing you all of these things because you might not grasp everything all at once. All right. Now, you can always go online to check support areas, resistance zones. Believe me, if you are a new trader and you are seeing this, you should count yourself very lucky. All right. It gives you an idea of the markets, and then it shortens your learning curve by 1,000%. These that I'm showing you took me so many well, months and months and months. I don't want to say years, but months and months. So all that you are seeing here, you might not really understand. Always feel free to reach out to me. I'm always accessible. You can reach out to me, talk to me, communicate with me. I'll tell you, all right, this is what you should do, or this is where you're making a mistake. I'm always accessible. You can call me, you can send me a message. All right. Okay. Now, the candle must take out, okay, for the first one, the candle must take out the previous candle high when intending to sell and must be in resistance. don't forget, in this case, the candle should end bearish. Bearish meaning that it must end in a red candle. And that's a very important rule to take note of. Very important rule to take note of. It must be in a bearish form. All right. Okay. All right, please, I would like you to take a note of this. Take note of it. If you have not, please take note of it before I get it off the screen. The candle must take out previous high when intending to sell, take out previous low when intending to buy, and must end bullish. All right, and must be in a support area. Okay, look for areas of support, look for areas of resistance, and then take your trade off that point when you see your opportunity. All right, you see this is a support area. How is it a support area? The market came here, bounce here, and went up. All right, now that's a support area. Now you look for an area, you look for the pattern. That's the strategy that I've showed you guys. What do we see here? We see that this candle took out that previous low, which is here, and it ended bullish. What am I going to look out for? I want to buy. You go long right there, and then you put your stop loss below right there. Your take profit will be 2.5. 2.5. That's all. 2.5. All right, so that's the strategy. Simple, easy, not complicated. Very easy. All right, so that's the strategy. Now, another thing I want you to take note of is that the candle must not be too long. All right, so this candle here must not be too long. At most, it should be 15 pips. At most, it should be 15 pips. That's it there. Something like this, from here to here, is so long, which is about 22 pips. If you take a trade off that, you're not in the best position to, be in profit very quickly because the candle is a long one. So my advice is that your candle should be at least 10 to 15 pips, at least 10 to 15 pips. All right, now that's the strategy. Don't forget the strategy. You can take a screenshot of that so that you don't forget. You can take a screenshot of that. All right, so that's exactly what the strategy is all about. Simple and easy. Let's go and have a few more examples. I think I have a chart here. I've done that before. I have quite a number of them. So you can look at it closely. So you can look at it closely. Okay, so we see that the support zone took out the previous low right there, took out the previous low, ended bullish. I buy. In this case, took out the previous low, ended bullish. I buy. In this case, we see that it's a support zone. We saw that it went up, came down. It's a support zone. It took out the previous high here. I sell. Okay, this case is 1 to 3. think I did an example of 1 to 3 right there. You see that in the support zone, took out previous low right there. I buy. The same thing happens here. So we see it's in a support zone, in a support zone. So it's going to be your duty to be able to identify support zones. All right. For those people who are diligent, those of my students who are going to get this course and are going to be diligent enough, I'll show you something. All right. This for now is very okay. All right. For you to be successful. All right. So we see keeps repeating itself. Support, support. The markets always repeats itself, always repeats itself. So MW, 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 MW is always doing that, always doing that. All right, so you can draw it in support areas, you know, support areas. The same thing happens here. Okay, we also see W right there. We also see, okay, I shouldn't have taken a trade right there. Now, if you notice, we have another trade running here. Another trade is currently running using that same strategy. Currently running. So we see this is a support. So we see that there is a support. So that's where I'm looking forward to take my profit. So it's a simple strategy. It's a simple strategy. Now, let's look at closely why I took that trade. Why did I take that trade? It's in a support area. Okay, that's the first reason I took that trade. Now, the second reason I took that trade was because it took out previous high, which is here. After the green took out the high, and then I sold, I put my stop loss above, and my risk reward ratio is 2.5, as you can see, 2.5. So I'm expecting it to come down to that point, which is, of course, already good. All right. I also took another trade currently on USD card. I don't know if that's going well already. All right. So we see that same system, same strategy, 2.5. So we see the market went up. And then that's exactly what we are looking for. Very simple, very simple. Now that we have known the strategy, let me show you something very, very important. All right, and that will be in the next video. Please take your time to study this. Take your time to study this. I want a group of a WhatsApp group, or a WhatsApp group that is filled with people who are knowledgeable about how this market works. Now, this is one part of, this is just one part of everything that you have to know. Just one part. The next video, I'm going to talk about risk management, and then I'll talk about your psychology. All right. Once I'm able to do that, I think I've done enough to help you, at least. All right, then let's go straight to the next video. And thank you for following through up until now.